Loni Anderson, the beloved television icon known for her glamorous role as Jennifer Marlo on WKRP in Cincinnati, has passed away at the age of 79 in a Los Angeles hospital following a prolonged illness. Her longtime publicist Cheryl J. Kagan confirmed the heartbreaking news, adding that a private family service is being arranged at the historic Hollywood Forever Cemetery. As tributes pour in from across the entertainment world, one of the most poignant and heartfelt came from her former WKRP co-star, Jan Smithers, who played the smart, grounded reporter Bailey Quarters. Smithers and Anderson shared more than just screen time on the iconic sitcom that ran from 1978 to 1982. They shared a unique bond that blossomed over the years, growing far beyond the confines of a Hollywood set. Though their characters often contrasted Jennifer being the blonde bombshell and Bailey the intellectual brunette, the two actresses shared an unbreakable connection behind the scenes. Their deep mutual respect, admiration, and ultimately friendship helped transcend the tropes and cliches that too often divide women in show business. Upon learning of Anderson's passing, Jan Smithers issued a moving and emotional tribute that immediately resonated with fans, colleagues, and industry insiders. Loni had a light that couldn't be dimmed even in her most private struggles, Smithers said in a statement. Thoughtful. She was a fighter, a true professional, and one of the most gracious women I've ever known. While the world may remember her for her beauty, I will always remember her heart. Smithers' words carried the weight of 4 decades of shared memories, from long days on set filled with laughter and late-night rehearsals, to public appearances where the two women were often pitted against each other by the media. Rather than fall into that trap, they leaned into sisterhood. Over time, their on-screen rivalry evolved into off-screen camaraderie, a relationship built on trust, support, and resilience. Their journey together began in the late 1970s, a transformative era for women in television. WKRP in Cincinnati was a breakthrough show, especially in how it portrayed female characters. Jennifer and Bailey represented two very different types of women, one outwardly glamorous and confident, the other modest and quietly brilliant. But both were competent, self-assured, and independent, a rarity for female characters at the time. Much of that authenticity stemmed from the real-life energy between Anderson and Smithers. In her tribute, Smithers recalled one of their earliest conversations on set. Thoughtful. We were both a little nervous about how we'd be perceived. People love to make comparisons between women, she wrote. Clear as thought, but Loni looked me in the eye and said, determined, let's make sure they remember both of us. Chuckles. Anderson and Smithers remained close. Though their careers took different directions, they stayed in touch through phone calls, handwritten notes, and occasional lunches in Los Angeles when their paths crossed. Smithers, who later stepped away from the Hollywood spotlight to focus on her family and spiritual journey, often credited Anderson as someone who kept her grounded. Thoughtful, Loni never lost sight of who she was. Softly, Smithers shared, she was proud of being a woman, proud of being a mother, and proud of being a survivor. Anderson's long illness was something she battled privately, with the same strength and grace she had shown throughout her life. Friends say she didn't want her final days to be defined by sickness, but rather by love for her children, her friends, her fans, and the life she had built through decades of perseverance. Smithers was one of the few allowed to visit her in those final weeks, a privilege that left her both honored and heartbroken. We sat together in silence, reminiscing, Smithers recalled. There wasn't much that needed to be said. I held her hand and I told her how proud I was of her. She smiled, and that smile said everything. Fans of WKRP in Cincinnati have long debated who they related to more, the glamorous Jennifer or the thoughtful Bailey. But those who worked on the show say the real magic was in their dynamic together. It was the tension, the chemistry, and ultimately the harmony between these two characters and actresses that elevated the series from sitcom to cultural milestone. Smithers emphasized in her tribute, emphatically, there would have been no Bailey without Jennifer, and there would have been no WKRP without Loni Anderson. She also recalled how Anderson championed causes close to her heart, especially children's health and lung disease awareness. Having lost her own mother to COPD, Anderson became a vocal advocate for early detection and treatment, working with organizations like the American Lung Association. Sadly, even when she was hurting, she wanted to help others, Smithers noted. That was her nature, that was Loni. The private service at Hollywood Forever Cemetery is expected to be intimate, attended by family, close friends, and a few long-time industry colleagues. Though public memorials are not currently planned, fans have been gathering at sites associated with Anderson's career, leaving flowers and messages outside television studios and along the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Jan Smithers has chosen to remember Anderson in a deeply personal way through the legacy of love and light she left behind. Softly, she lived a full life, sighs Smithers said. A beautiful, complicated, joyful, meaningful life. She was one of a kind, and I will miss her always. This touching tribute from Smithers underscores a loss that feels personal to so many. Loni Anderson wasn't just a Hollywood icon, she was a symbol of empowerment, resilience, and grace. Resilience and grace. Her character may have worn glamorous clothes and delivered zingers with perfect timing, but it was the woman behind the role, the friend, the mother, the advocate, who truly shone. Smithers closed her statement with a final thought that echoed the sentiments of countless others. I hope you're up there somewhere, walking into a room with that same radiant smile, making everyone feel like they matter. You did that every day of your life. I love you, Loni. As the entertainment world mourns the loss of one of its brightest stars, Jan Smithers' heartfelt tribute serves not only as a farewell, but a celebration of a friendship that defied expectation, a legacy that transcends fame, and a life that will never be forgotten. Loni Anderson, a name synonymous with charm, elegance, and comedic brilliance, carved a permanent place in television history through decades of dedication, talent, and resilience. Her journey from a small-town girl in Minnesota to one of the most recognizable faces in Hollywood is a tale of determination, ambition, and heart. Born on August 5, 1945, in St. Paul, Minnesota, Loni K. Anderson grew up in a middle-class family. Her father was a chemist and her mother a model, sparking her early interest in performing. She graduated from the University of Minnesota and began working in regional theater and small film roles. Despite her glamorous appearance, Anderson wasn't immediately embraced by Hollywood. She spent years auditioning, facing rejection, and being told she was too pretty for certain roles. But Anderson wanted more, roles that were meaningful, stories that had impact, and characters with depth. Her breakthrough came in 1978 when she landed the role of Jennifer Marlo on WKRP in Cincinnati. As the beautiful and brainy receptionist at a struggling radio station, Anderson turned what could have been a shallow, one-note character into a groundbreaking portrayal. Jennifer Marlo was intelligent, confident, and completely in control of her own narrative. Her performance earned her 3 Golden Globe nominations and 2 Emmy nominations. WKRP ran for 4 seasons but left a lasting impact. Off-screen, Anderson became a symbol of 1980s glamour. Her platinum blonde hair, impeccable fashion, and dazzling smile made her a media darling. But she worked hard to maintain control over her public image, becoming known not just for her looks but also for her professionalism, wit, and advocacy for women's rights. Throughout her career, Anderson took on roles that showcased her versatility. She starred in TV movies, dramas and comedies, including A Letter to Three Wives, Partners in Crime opposite Linda Carter, and White Hot, The Mysterious Murder of Thelma Todd. These performances highlighted her dramatic depth and ability to transform for demanding roles. Her personal life, particularly her marriage to actor Burt Reynolds, was in 1993 after a highly publicized and tumultuous relationship. Anderson later spoke out about the verbal and domestic abuse she experienced, becoming an advocate for victims of domestic violence. She also battled chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, despite never being a smoker. She used her platform to raise awareness about secondhand smoke and environmental pollutants, working closely with the American Lung Association. In her later years, Anderson privately faced another prolonged illness with dignity and courage. In her 2017 memoir, My Life in High Heels, she reflected on the joys and challenges of her life, both in and out of the spotlight. "Beauty opened doors for me," she wrote, "but it was my will, my work, and my heart that kept me going." Loni Anderson redefined what it meant to be a beautiful woman on screen. She proved that glamour and intelligence could coexist, that resilience could be radiant, and that even the brightest stars can shine longest when fueled by authenticity and compassion. She is survived by her son Quinton, her extended family, and a legacy of work that will continue to entertain and inspire generations. Hollywood has lost one of its brightest stars, but her light will forever shine.